Hey guys, James here with Waterford Business Solutions, and today we're going to finish up talking about our project costing and the reporting that we can get out of projects through QuickBooks Online. The biggest thing, or the nicest factor that you have, is under the project we get this beautiful little profit margin bar. It shows us how much in income we have and how much amount that is in a green bar, and then how much in costs we have and how much that costs, and the cost will be in a blue bar. So you get to see a green to blue ratio here. What's nice is if you're running multiple projects at a time, that bar will show up on the main page, so you can always track how close you're getting to expenses compared to your income there. This account is the only one that I've actually kind of messed with, so that's why you're not seeing that. But it's really nice to kind of compare multiple jobs at once to see how close it was, along with comparing your profit margin here, because this profit margin shows both here on this bar and right here on the main page, so that we can see a profit margin of all your jobs. That way we can see bad performing jobs, good performing jobs, etc., etc. Now, in saying that, on this page here, we can do different sorting. So let's say that you have a bunch of different jobs going and we want to see everything sorted by profit margin. We can click on certain columns here and resort. And right now my computer's being a little slow, so I apologize that it's not doing that. But typically speaking, it will resort to help you see your best performing jobs versus your worst performing jobs. The other thing that this will give you is it will let you know how much is open and overdue invoice-wise. So if you send them an invoice, if you send them something that needs to be paid, up here it will tell you whether it's paid or not, so that you can make sure that this project is completely and totally done. Down here we can see how your income breaks down between the different income areas, along with how your expenses break down between your employees, your cost of goods sold, or where your expenses go, etc., which is the exact same thing. These are going to be the exact same thing as what you would see on your profit and loss statement or your chart of accounts. It will give you a total profit here that's going to include all hourly time costs. Now, if you want some more detail, we can always come in and we can run a project profitability report. This is going to be basically a P&L, or a profit and loss statement specific for this project. And you'll see that everything that we saw on that one page is still here. Where our income went, what our total income was, our cost of goods sold, and if we had a breakdown of that, I didn't do that for this customer. What our gross profit is, that we don't see there, so this you might want to see. And then what our expenses are and the breakdown there, to give us our total net income. Now, one thing that you'll notice is that this net income here, this 10,870, is different than this 9,480, because the net income on this project report, project profitability report, does not include time costs. If you want to view your time costs, you can also view this time cost by employee or vendor. It'll show you every single day that an employee worked, how long they worked there, and how much it costs for you to work there that day. Then you can go ahead and you can make it billable, etc., etc. Keep in mind, if you're using third-party applications in conjunction with QuickBooks, billable may not always be a good example or a good thing to use. An example of that is going to be with Housecall Pro and Jobber. Since you invoice through those systems, those billable expenses won't go over and they will forever stay there. And that's what this next report goes over, is unbilled time and expenses. If you mark time charges, if you mark expenses billable, then this will tell you if you've missed billing anything out to them. Billable expenses are great if you're only using QuickBooks for everything. If we're using a third party, please be cautious and make sure that it is going to work with your third party application. These billable expenses will be able to be added to an invoice. So if at the end of everything we come in and we've sent all of our invoices, we've got all of our expenses in here, the last thing we want to do if you are using billable expenses is check this and make sure that we have any billable expenses billed out. And if we are missing some, send them another invoice for it. That way it zeroes this report out. So that's how some of the reports that we can get here. And it gives you pretty good insight on how that project went, because we can see exactly how much time you spent on the job in total with all of your employees, along with the exact cost for your labor on that job. And you can compare that to other jobs' labors moving forward, along with comparing your profit margin, your total profit, where your expenses went, because you can run multiples of these project reports. And let's say that you have 6 projects that are very, very similar. We can compare those and see how similar they add up on the project profitability report and on the time cost report. The final thing that we need to do here with projects is once you complete a project, you're going to have this in progress option up here underneath the project name. We're going to want to let QuickBooks know once it's all set and complete, everything's paid, everything's billed, and the project is completely done. We're going to want to let QuickBooks know that it's completed or canceled. Canceled obviously means that the customer decided to cancel the job and maybe you didn't finish it all the way, or you didn't even start it. Whereas completed is going to mean that you actually completed the job. Most of the time we're going to click completed here, and what that's going to do is 2 major things. First and foremost, we're going to lose that project from our main projects tab. That's beneficial because if we have a bunch of different projects going on, if you're always doing 5 or 6 projects, you don't want to end up with 100 projects in here that you're having to sort through. You're going to want to have what you're currently actively working on. You can always go back to them and find the completed projects right here without an issue. But they won't show up in this main area. The other thing that will happen is it will take it off of the area when we're adding expenses or income, so doing invoices, doing checks, doing bills. That project won't show up under your customers anymore to complicate everything going on there. So that's why it's important to make sure that we complete things or that we end things. And if you accidentally complete something, it's not a big deal. Let's go back, we'll find that project, and we'll just change it back to in progress. And it will move right back here so that you can add some more expenses to it if you find expenses later on. Or you can modify the income, apply discounts, whatever you need to do here if you ever need to go back and modify it. It's not that difficult to bring it back if you need to. So that concludes project costing through QuickBooks Online. If you have any questions or any concerns, please feel free to give us a call or shoot us an email. Thank you so much.